Good morning, Jan. Today we have Jan Münchhoff with us. He's the chairman of EuroBrake 21. Jan, good morning. What is your role at EuroBrake and what is your role at your day job, so to speak?
Okay. Yeah, good morning, Mike, and nice to see you. My job at EuroBrake is leading the steering committee, which is the counterpart, the organizational counterpart of FISITA, which is a conference organizer. And so we in the steering committee, we try to define the content of the EuroBrake, the elements of the EuroBrake, and this is what I'm doing at EuroBrake to be the chair of this group and in general chairing the EuroBrake and welcoming all the attendees and exhibitors to our EuroBrakes. This is what is a pleasure to me. And in my daily life, my daily job is at Audi in Ingolstadt here in Germany, and I'm looking over a department which is responsible for the driving characteristics of our car, for driver assistance systems and automated functions.
Interesting. Tell me, about EuroBrake 21, which just wrapped up last week. What was it like this year?
Yeah, it was our first full virtual conference, and it was a EuroBrake after a year of almost no EuroBrake, because last year we had really just a very short and a very small event. And this year, this was my first year also as chairman of EuroBrake. We had the plan to be ready for a full virtual conference, prepared a new platform. And so we had an event almost comparable to our physical events, with all elements like sessions, panels, keynote speeches, discussions, but obviously without real coffee breaks and without nice evenings in restaurants or bars. This wasn't possible in this year EuroBrake.
Okay, so you did your first virtual event. How would you summarize? How well did it go? What might you have learned about those kind of programs?
Yeah, I think it was the positive things, obviously, were that the networking effect between the attendees and the speakers in terms of questions and answers, getting the content delivered to the people, having very lively presentations and discussions, this went very well, and the feedback was very good. And the international aspect gets even better a little bit than with a physical EuroBrake, where you have obviously some people who can't attend because of travel restrictions and so on. And this was obviously not a big thing for a virtual event this year. And so in terms of the using virtual elements to connect people worldwide, the EuroBrake was a real great success. And the only things which obviously the people were missing were the chats between the sessions to connect even a little bit beside the strict content and to talking about the industry in general and what maybe are trends which are not inside the sessions covered. And this was obviously something which the people were missing, and the social aspect is obviously a little bit more difficult.
Looking at the event itself, what would you say were the major themes or topics of not just of the presentations, of the discussions, of the entire event, the feeling, the mood?
Yeah, so I think we have what we see is that we have general content every year, which would come on a regular basis, like the NVH aspect, corrosion, performance issues, all the aspects around the tribological questions. This is something we have every year. But in this year, especially, I would mention three things. One thing is, again, we had a lot of discussion about brake particle emissions. This is one major theme which we follow since some years, and it's getting bigger and bigger in terms of the content which were delivered by the participants. The second point is obviously we had a very good rail theme this year as well. That means the rail guys did a great job to prepare panels and sessions. This was very interesting. And the third thing is what becomes larger and larger every year is the aspect of a system. That means the brake and the foundation brakes, the brake actuator, and so on, are itself as components no more that interesting, so that attractive. We are discussing more the aspect of the system and what is the power of a system combined of foundation brake actuators, and what they can deliver as enabling system for other functions in the car.
Have you seen in recent years, right up through this year, a change in the type of attendee because of some of those changes you talked about, like a discussion more of systems versus individual componentry and high-tech technology as composed to the old-fashioned mechanical technology? Is that, have you seen a different type of person attending?
Yeah, obviously the number of people coming from the OEM side, either passenger cars or commercial vehicles, is getting larger from year to year, and also the system supplier side, the tier one, or as well universities which looking after control algorithm or mechatronic aspects, are more attracted to attend the EuroBrake. This is a clear trend we can see from the last years. Yeah.
Did anyone make a major revelation announcement? You know, ooh, get the whole conference a Twitter, so to speak.
I think to be honest, I wasn't in any session or in every session, so I couldn't say if there is a big woo in one specific session. We didn't had all the feedback combined already, but I was personally in our strategy panel this year, and the focus in the strategy panel was it was called rolling chassis or chassis systems. That means really a system which combining the drivetrain and the chassis and the brakes all together in one product. And this was really interesting for a lot of people, but because they have they could recognize that there's a real power in combining all our mechatronic and mechanic features we develop in one system. And if this is very good combined and good connected, then these systems have a lot of power to support very interesting functions like autonomous driving functions in our cars in the future. And this was prepared mainly by big suppliers and big tier ones. And the power and the brain of these companies and these people was astonishing for a lot of people. And I got a lot of feedback. Wow, this industry and this community can produce really a high technology impact on the whole car market and the mobility market in general.
You spoke of one of the three main areas this year was the rail, the addition of the rail industry. How was that accepted based on the comments you've heard back from the overall group and the people in the industry, in the rail industry? What kind of comments you've gotten back from them about the participation?
Yeah, we have seen that the participation is in the last year quite stable and very, very good in terms of the numbers. And the rail people obviously is a group which is really connected to his topics, and there is a big interest every second year to have a major rail event at EuroBrake. We have it not every year, we have it every second year, but every second year with a real strong focus on delivering content and delivering networking possibilities for the rail community. And this year, just to name it, we had I think two good events. One was that in our keynote speeches we talked about what can automotive learn from rail, and what have rail learned from automotive in the past. And this was really interesting also in the in our purpose of EuroBrake to connect different industry sectors and different people together. And so especially the rail people honored quite well that they are integrated in this EuroBrake community. And so we had the chance, and this was the second point, what maybe was special this year. We had the chance to make a connection from EuroBrake community to one very large European funded scientific project, which have in mind to build the future of rail in the future in terms of connecting the rail to the infrastructure, connecting rails, rail trains between each other. And so we have a connection. EuroBrake is integrated in in the scientific European program, and we will have in every second year a status report out of this European project in our EuroBrake, and have another touch point for the rail people to gather at EuroBrake together for exchanging scientific news and exchanging new knowledges.
Okay, you talked about this year being a success despite the changes, despite having to go virtual instead of in person. What do you see in the future for EuroBrake? What kind of events going forward for 2022 and beyond?
I think the feedback for the virtual elements was so strong that I would say we would be foolish if we wouldn't use the virtual elements in future. And so we will have, I think, in the next EuroBrakes possibilities to attend online and to have virtual elements in our EuroBrake conference. But obviously, a lot of people also said, okay, we have a strong demand also meet in person, physical, and so we will have hybrid events in the future. If there is a possibility that we have a physical event, then this will be, from my understanding, this has to be a hybrid one, because a lot of people want to have the possibility of attend at least some sessions online by using nice tools like we are using right now.
I imagine as part of that, you've stored and you recorded all the sessions, and they're out there for the participants to rewatch, or if they miss some, to watch in the first place.
Yeah, this is part of the contract, and we were a little bit we were skeptical how this will be accepted by the people, by the speakers, but we get a very good feedback, and we had almost no one saying, okay, I wouldn't share my experience with the participants, also to looking after the event for a while. If I couldn't attend this specific sessions I'm interested in. And so we have really a good library now for people looking after the event or watching after the event, a specific session or a specific talk. And this is something I think it's a really good value for the people which participated EuroBrake.
I'm gonna hit you with a potentially tough one. Have you decided on a location for an in-person event next year if you do hold an in-person event?
Yeah, we had last year, we had Barcelona in mind, and this was cancelled. This was obviously a shame, because Barcelona has a lot of for us a lot of attractiveness.
I was looking forward to
it. But we were a little bit more conservative this year, and said, okay, we want to have a location which is in Germany, because we had in Germany some more stable situation in terms of the conference organization. And so we will look after the conference what we are doing in in 22, but it looks like that we will have, if we have a physical event next year, then we're looking after a location in Germany to have the conference there, on a good place for coming in and for travel to, and but also a good point for having possibilities for sharing these online as well with the people worldwide.
Well, Don, I thank you very much for this update on EuroBrake 21 and the possible EuroBrake 22, the kind of event. Is there anything I might not have asked concerning EuroBrake that we should talk about? Anything else?
Maybe just to mention what for me is a real success story, not only for EuroBrake, but I think EuroBrake was inspiration for maybe other conferences as well, is our activities for the young engineers and for the students, because we started with our European Student Opportunity Program some years ago, and we had now a very, I think almost now we had like 300 people or so in our program, and this year again 50 people which were joining the conference by invitation and could get more information in terms of special presentations. They get CV checks. That means we looked after their career and said, okay, what is maybe good for a career in the brake industry, and they could join also our strategic discussions and so on. It was very lively to discussing with students from all over the world, from India, from China, from US, and this was very interesting to get different perspectives and also this fresh mind and fresh ideas, which for us was an inspiration for the EuroBrake community. And as well, I think we had also some good work done to get good people and good follower in terms of the EuroBrake community in out of our student community together.
Do you think the virtual nature of the event helped in terms of the student population?
Yeah, sure. Because every year you could imagine this travel budget is some of the largest costs if we're talking about supporting students. And obviously this makes it for us easier to support even more students in joining the EuroBrake than in years when we have to finance all the travel budget. And this makes it really more easy to bring more students in our community.
Well, thank you. Well, congratulations on a successful virtual event. Considering you put it together from nothing, without any real plan, ability to plan, and did it under the gun. And it sounds like it went very well and worked. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mike.